everyone. We're here with Sona Iliffe-Moon, Chief Communications Officer at Yahoo, and we're going to talk about Yahoo's recent rise again and what goes into that in terms of communications. First, I'd like to start off with a little bit about your background and how did you end up in comms and how long have you been at Yahoo?
Yes, so I'll start with your first question, and Nicole, thank you so much for having me here. It's a really great spot here at CES. I started in communications after a stint doing like foreign policy work, and I realized that I actually really liked the opportunity to communicate with the public, make sure the public had information they needed to be well informed. So I went to graduate school to learn strategic PR and then started my career in public relations, first on the agency side at a couple different agencies like Weber Shandwick and Hill & Knowlton, and then I started my in-house career at Toyota at their corporate headquarters in the US. Yeah.
We're a Toyota family.
Oh, I love it.
Driving my first car was a Toyota. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're highly reliable, quality vehicles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And can you explain a little bit about your role and your responsibilities at Yahoo?
Yes, I have the opportunity and privilege to lead communications at Yahoo, and that essentially means reintroducing the company, our products, our people to the world. It's obviously a company that's been around for over 30 years now, an internet pioneer, and to be able to not just reintroduce ourselves, but to also show what we've been up to and what we've been building over the last few years. I joined Yahoo in late 2023, and I felt like it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be part of that reintroduction of a company that I still believed in. And the reality is so many people, 9 out of 10 Americans visit a Yahoo property like a Yahoo Finance, a Yahoo Sports, Yahoo Mail every single month. And so the true gap and opportunity was, hey, we need to get back into culture, we need to get back into conversation, and that felt like an opportunity I couldn't resist.
Yeah, I still have a Yahoo email account after many years, and you know, a lot of people think of Yahoo as a search engine, or it used to be, but now people think of it, you know, as a news and content organization. You know, tech brands, your spotlight can be fleeting, right? You know, remember Ask Jeeves or Pets.com or Napster, who is actually here at CES, by the way, now doing something in AI. You know, Yahoo is, as you said, one of the OGs and has had somewhat of this renaissance over the past year. And that's not easy to achieve, particularly with the current state of news and media. So how did you guys do it?
Yeah, I think, so our newest chapter started in 2021. The company is owned by a private equity firm called Apollo, and that's really allowed us to focus very much on our users and how they're experiencing our products. It meant leveling up all of our products. So every single pixel of every product has been updated over the last few years, and we have gone back to our original mission, which is to help people kind of find their way through the internet, to be that trusted guide in the digital wilderness. And so that's really more important than ever. And I think the reality is our products have been useful for 30 years, and that's why people have stuck it out with us. And now we've really elevated that experience for them.
Great. I know PR pros are really wrestling right now with how AI shapes credibility and earned media. You know, Yahoo is definitely directly in that flow. First off, you know, how is Yahoo thinking about trust and verification, especially as AI-generated content becomes more prevalent across the web?
Yeah, I think, you know, there's two ways around that. One, as a publisher, we're both a consumer tech company and a media company. We're both of those things, and that's a unique intersection. But when it comes to our Yahoo News, we work with trusted, verified publishers. We have over 1,000 in our network, and we have high editorial guidelines for accurate, fair reporting. So that's incredibly important to us in our work with publishers, but in our own reporting, that's also the same. And we have, you know, systems to verify, both through AI, but also through humans in the loop as well. So there's a kind of twofold approach to that on the publisher side, and then for us on the communication side, obviously making sure we're telling our stories to reputable sources, to telling our stories directly to people through social, even on LinkedIn, via Instagram, etc. That's also been very important for us.
That's great. And I guess talking about that, what responsibility do platforms like Yahoo have in helping users distinguish between, human-created content, AI-assisted, and fully synthetic content? You guys feel a responsibility there?
I think how we approach it is we work with these trusted, verified sources to begin with, and so either it's a known, renowned publisher, or it's our own first-party reporting done by humans. So we fact-checked our stories. We use actual photography, and if we are using AI, I think it's important to be transparent, so we are disclosing that. For example, Yahoo News has an AI-generated daily news digest, and it's a little podcast that kind of captures the news you might read into a podcast, and that's clearly labeled as AI. I think that type of disclosure is incredibly important. So those are some of the ways we're approaching it.
That's great.
We also do have creators in our ecosystem.
Oh, okay.
So they're all, reviewed by us, and they're able to share, their content, like Nick DiGiovanni and others who are, sharing their content around lifestyle topics like cooking or travel or shopping.
That's such a big trend right now within content,
Yes.
within news and things like that. So,
Totally.
But it's nice too that your readership or viewership knows that that the content creators are also being vetted to make sure the information is correct and original.
Totally.
Looking at your staff and your priorities on the comms team, what are you guys looking at for 2026 now that you had a big year in 2025?
Yes, hopefully we can continue that momentum, but some of the strategies we're hoping to deploy, we've taken the last 18 months to have a very AI-forward approach on our team. So AI in our comms workflows remains very, very important. Having a sound geo strategy, a generative engine optimization strategy, is also very top of mind. And then beyond that, we think IRL is very important this year. Getting together with reporters, with influencers, and other opinion shapers in person, it's incredibly important. And then finally, going beyond the beat of our storytelling. So obviously there's traditional media, and they're also incredibly important. I think they always will be, but to make sure that we're expanding our portfolio to talk to Substackers, Beehive writers, LinkedIn creators, in addition to telling our stories directly. So that's kind of our mix for the year.
Do you have an example of some of the ways you guys are using AI in comms?
Yes, for sure. So we use a lot of different tools, and how we kind of got our team to adopt AI more fluidly, we had a two-pronged approach. In about a year ago, we had something we called Prompt and Prosper Day. We gave everyone on the team a day to just focus on using the tools and kind of not having any set goals behind it, to get comfortable. And I think we learned a couple things, that certain tools are better for certain actions, and to experiment with all of them across different tasks. And out of that, we actually built a lot of interesting things. In phase one, we built a coverage assistant. I actually built that for our team.
Cool.
I tried to do it with Python, and I don't have the skills, so I actually built it with ChatGPT. We created audience personas for our company so that we could communicate in tailored ways to our employees, whether they were interns or engineers. They might be interested in different types of information. We also created messaging kind of flows, where you put the core messaging in and it would tailor it for the newsletter or our open house town hall. So we created those in the first round, and then later in the year, and just last month actually, we had our second installation. We called it Prompt in Progress, where we had project teams to tackle areas of opportunity. What does the next press release look like? How can we take our geo strategy further? And for a press release, we're looking at things like, hey, should we build an AI agent for reporters to kind of access our stats in a more interactive way? Maybe they're writing a story about Yahoo Mail. They want to know how many users it has or when it was founded, and they can ask those questions. Obviously, we don't want to replace having those conversations ourselves, but if it's a small ask, maybe that would be a time saver and helpful for reporters. So we're trying to look at those types of things, and also whether we kind of bring in some of the features in our Yahoo News products, like the podcast I had mentioned, or the key summary takeaways from an article, could we bring those into our press releases? Would that be useful for reporters? So we're trying to really serve as an incubator for what comms could look like next.
That's so nice that you were able to also bring in, people from, tech developers and project managers and things, which I think is really important for any PR team right now, especially working with AI.
Yes, because many of us don't know how to program these things ourselves, maybe yet. Yeah.
But maybe you'll learn Python this year. You never know. Well, this is kind of what we just talked about a little bit, but any emerging technology or trends that communicators you think should be paying closer attention to right now?
I mean, I think considering building some of your own tools in-house is pretty interesting. Every team could consider having a suite of GPTs for their own team, like a coverage assistant, an analytics assistant, executive bots, etc. So I think that's one. But we're learning something new every week, so just remaining open-minded is probably the most important thing.
Yeah, and also being at CES, you get to talk to people and hear the different things they're working on.
Yes, there's so many technologists here. I'm hearing it's all about the robots folding laundry this year.
Oh, I could use one of those.
Same here.
Yeah. And finally, you're in the role of Chief Communications Officer. It's changed a bit in the past few years, for sure. Especially at a tech and media company like Yahoo, what changes have you experienced or seen?
Yes, so I think there are some pretty significant changes in this role, and especially over with the advent of AI. I think trust is incredibly important, and with the kind of growth of social media and how fast culture moves, nimbleness and agility is also incredibly important. So I do believe the CCO role and the comms function in general has become more of a strategic thought partner, not just to the CEO, but across the company, and is often now sitting upstream of product decisions, policy decisions, how culture is made. So it's not just communicating the story, but actually helping build what we're talking about in the first place.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.